All right, it's another beautiful Wednesday morning in a big and beautiful city of Ibadan. Feeling so much excited this morning. It's the midweek edition of From the Daily Zone Solutions 93.9 FM, the program where we get to take you through the front pages of our newspapers this morning. My name is Adedamola Lafenwa, and I have Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokwe, who is joining me virtually on the program this morning. A beautiful morning to you, Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokwe.
Yes, it's another beautiful Wednesday morning in this sprawling city of Ibadan. Good morning.
Okay, Comrade, you and I have about 30 minutes on the program because we have a special guest who will be joining us in the course of the program. That is Bishop Taiwo Adelako, who is actually already in the studio with us this morning. But when it is 10 o'clock, I will launch him on board. But because of our little time, let's quickly go straight to the business of the day. And looking at the stories this morning, I have the Vanguard newspaper, I have the Punch newspaper, and also the Nigerian Tribune, and of course, the Nation newspaper. But there's a particular story that caught my attention on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this Wednesday morning, and it talks about the immigration policy of the new president of the United States of America, that is Donald John Trump. And for about a week or so now, after he's been sworn in, he's been having what I like to call a mass deportation of nationals from America to back to their home soils. But I think it's Nigeria's turn now. Looking at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, it says Trump's immigration policy. 5,144 Nigerians face arrest, deportation from U.S. And riders, we have this one saying 3,690 among non-detained immigrants, 1,454 in detention for various offenses. FG's interagency committee already in place. If need come. Let's talk about this. It's Nigeria's turn. So Nigeria should be expecting, what do I call it, a batch of deportees from the U.S. What do you make out of this policy that Trump is embarking upon?
Well, this is definitely and specifically one of the reasons why many Nigerians expressed displeasure towards the candidacy of Donald Trump. And I think some were delighted when he was defeated in 2020. But here we are again. The man is back in office. And why are they specifically displeased? Because of his policy of removing illegal immigrants. But you see, I think we should understand that these are internal affairs of the United States as a nation. And he is operating under, prescribed rules of engagement. And if he tends to operate under rule outside of the laws of the land, you know that he will be engaged, as he has been already engaged on the issue of the right of citizenship if you are born in the United States. 18 states have gone to court. Other groups have gone to court. So as long as the man is operating under the prescribed laws of the land, he is in order. If you are inhabiting a location illegally, and I think the appropriate thing is to regularize your stay. You know the rules. People who are staying there illegally, unfortunately, some have stayed there for many, many years and failing to take advantage of the, of the liberal laws of the United States to regularize their stay. And yes, people want to go there, but there are many people. You will see that the first batch of deportees are those who are illegal immigrants, but with criminal records. Yes, we have had some, situations in which people committed traffic offenses. You might call that minor, but the fact is that the man is simply implementing the rules of engagement. But of course, you and I know that that might be in conflict with the spirit of the American, the United States as a nation and people. But different folks,
but comrade,
different strokes.
Comrade Ayodeji, I want us to look at this particular issue. No one is against the policy, the immigration policy of Donald Trump, but I think it's the approach that matters. That some people are saying that the approach at which the U.S. government is pursuing this policy is being barbaric. I have a few friends in the U.S. As at yesterday, they were telling me that it has become so bad that even those of them that have papers, legal papers to stay, they have to be going around the town, the cities with their papers, should in case you are being accosted by the police officers to identify yourself. You must be able to. I mean, people are being chased at the malls. People are being chased on the streets. Isn't that barbaric? The approach coming from the United States of America.
The optics are bad. The optics are not tidy. The optics are not nice. But you see, like I said, different folks, different strokes. This is Donald J. Trump, and a completely different individual and personality. I mean, you know that is personal. That is person. You see, like I say, a man is the star, and the star is the man. What we see is the man and his star. You understand? Mm-hmm. Of course, you have the records. You understand? One good thing about organized societies is that you have an identity. You have a location where you can be found. All of this can be done in a very civil manner, or most civil manner. But the optics of chasing people physically, and it's the optics is bad. The optics is bad. The optics is very, very bad. Believe you me. The word, as you and I spoke earlier, it is barbaric. It is barbaric. No. It is so. I mean, you know their locations, you know their status. You have a list. They have a list. You understand? You know the locations of this guy.
I want us to look at the consequences of his actions now. I mean, sometime last week, a batch of deportees were taken to Mexico, and Mexico refused the plane to land. The same thing happened in Colombia when some deportees were taken back. Now, don't you see this action of Donald Trump severing the ties U.S. has with some nations all over the world with this immigration policy?
Not just some nations, my dear comrade brother. America, let's go back a little bit in time. America became the leader of the free world in 1945 when America stepped out and got involved with the Second World War and played a decisive role in ending that war when it dropped those bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And you can also put the Pearl Harbor invasion attack into the mix. And America emerged as the leader of the free world, as it is called, and generally as the global police, the global cop, providing succor, the Marshall Plan was developed, and then the Western Europe was, with the effort of the United States, Western Europe was, devastated by the Second World War. Western Europe was giving financial leverage and backed, the rehabilitation. So America became the leader of the free world and the global police, and what we are seeing now, withdrawing from the World Health Organization, and all of that, and asking Europe to shoulder more responsibility in our own defense. You see, the world is always an evolving place. This is what we call isolationism in international politics. But it is nothing new. America was living in isolation before 1945. So, the world moved around in circles, but the short thing, like you asked, is that America is going to lose its leadership role because Europe now won't know. America has troops, missiles, defense systems, and all of that stationed in Europe. But the United States under Trump is asking, take more part, take more responsibility, show more responsibility in defense of your land. This is not the United States, this is Europe. And when people, take their own, when you know that your neighbor is no longer going to protect you, you call your folks together and say, look, our destiny is in our hands. Okay. Let's defend our territory. So America will certainly lose its leadership role in the global space. Look at what happened when he said they were going to withdraw from World Health Organization. An individual stepped in that I will be covering that gap. So people will no longer look forward. Nations, individuals, organizations will no longer look forward to the United States as the leader of the free world. They have to look elsewhere. And when that happens, they will lose the leadership role.
Okay.
Don't forget, the economic issues are still coming on. Sanctions here and there, tariff increases here and there. Look at what he did to Colombia. When Colombia refused the two aircraft carrying deportees to land, he just slammed the 25% tariff increase and said within 1 week it will be lifted to 50%. Colombia quickly, agreed. But definitely there will be consequences.
Is that not draconian in nature? That kind of steps taken by the U.S. government to sanction Colombia?
A man is star, and the star is the man. That's the way, and he's the president commander-in-chief, and he has a 4-year tenure. So that is the way it goes. But you can be sure that the American space itself, the case has gone to court regarding some of these issues, especially the citizenship rights at birth. 18 states went to court, and all of these deportations that you are seeing, you understand? The chasing around is not, the local police are not joining them. You understand?
Yeah.
For instance, in Chicago, Illinois, the police said, well, we are in defense of the people. So all of those things you see happening is being carried out by federal agencies, FBI, ICE, immigrations, and all of that. I do not think they have the personnel, you understand?
Okay.
And the infrastructure nationwide to do that, and the cost will be enormous.
All right, comrade, let's move away from that issue and go to other issues. It's still from the Daily Zone Solutions in 93.9 FM. Another issue that caught my attention is on the front page of the Punch newspaper, and it says, tariff hike, subscribers head for court as NCC talks deadlock. And right under that, NCC mum as subscribers insist on reversal, demand 10% tariff increase. Now, subscribers are going to court, taking NCC, what do you call it, the telecos to court for the tariff hike. And they are demanding that instead of the 50% tariff increase, it should be reduced to 10% increase. What do you make out of this? And do you see this workable 10% increase?
Well, and the question that just struck me now is, so why are those the consumer consumers, Association of Consumers in Nigeria, why are they not patrons, why are they not taking those who sell rice to court? Why are they not taking those manufacturers, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria to court over increases that we have witnessed? You understand? Why have they not done that? Why have they not done that? Yam Sellers Association, Gari Sellers Association, all manufacturers. Why are they not taking them
and all these items you mentioned, some of them even rose more than 100% hike in their prices, and nothing was done.
100, 500%.
Definitely, definitely.
Sometimes I just ask. The spaghetti, I think it is spaghetti or something like that. I was asking, I remember maybe about 2 years ago, the last time they said it was 200 naira. I think it is way above 1,000 naira there about now.
Yeah, it's about 1,002, 1,003 now.
Okay, so why haven't you taken the Manufacturers Association to court? And you want to take, and let's look at the reality of these service providers. Their business,
definitely,
the infrastructure that supports their service provision is dollar denominated. What has happened to the dollar in the past 18 months? 400. What has happened to the naira? 400 minimum. It got to 500% depreciation of the naira. When people say fuel is selling 1,000, I say no, fuel is not selling for 1,000. Fuel is still between 200 and 250 naira. It is the devaluation of the naira that took it to that location, because the inputs of production still remain the same thing. The only thing that moves back and forth is the price of the crude oil. So when the service provider, the infrastructure that supports the service is dollar denominated to the tune of about 95% or 90%, except for the salaries, and some of those people earn their salaries in US dollars. So how do you justify the fact that they should not increase their tariff? You understand? Look, let me tell you, the NCC had only stood in gap for consumers for a while. I recall that about a year and a half ago, they actually on their own adjusted the tariffs, but NCC came down within the space of a few weeks and asked them to revert, and they reverted. What will happen? And what has happened in other sectors, except this is privately owned, is that infrastructure will decay and will be unable to support smooth services. You and I know that services has not been very smooth in the past 6 months. Call drops,
Definitely.
Internet disruptions. And let us go back a little bit in time. Maybe sometime last year, April or thereabout, when some undersea cables were disrupted. You understand? You know the challenges that we faced for weeks before they were, rectified.
Rectified, yes.
Now, you might imagine a situation, internet disruption alone. We can even manage calls, you understand?
Yeah.
Internet disruption alone, what it will do to our own work, what it will do to financial services, and what it will do to businesses. So I believe you me. I was worried whether they were going to allow them to do 100, but of course NCC will not allow that. So honestly, 50% tariff increase is not unreasonable.
Okay.
It's not. We don't want to kill those businesses. Certainly not. Certainly not.
All right.
Certainly not. We should ask those who are going to court that in the past 18 months, have they not jacked up their own tariffs in the businesses they do? You understand? Let's be reasonable and rational.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the blackout at the UCH2. The story is on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune talking about blackout. UCH still negotiating with IBEDC. Pain has not been easy. Management. Is this not becoming embarrassing? UCH, an institution, an establishment that used to be the pride of the entire continent. I mean, even the universe. We heard stories of Saudi Arabia princes coming to receive medication in UCH, but UCH has been in blackout for almost 100 days now. Almost 90 days now. And they are saying that pain has not been easy. What is wrong with our health sector in this country?
Like I say, I happen to visit UCH at least maybe twice in a month for reasons, for some reasons. And each time we go, we go as a group visiting. The last time I did, I said to myself, these are capital projects ongoing, non-stop in various parts of UCH.
As we speak, are you saying projects are going on?
Yes,
but isn't that misplaced? Isn't that a case of misplaced priority when they are embarking on capital projects and they can't pay? They can't pay for the power. They can't pay IBEDC.
You should even just negotiate. You understand? Just negotiate. Negotiate. We owe 400, 500 million. We can only pay, if the monthly bill is 50 million. Okay, we can only pay additional 20. Look, in all these institutions, there's a lot of waste. There was a day I went to the location and I saw a Lexus 570 with about 4-5 utility vehicles, all engines running, glass one up. And I asked, who is this? And I was told it was the CMD of UCH, driving a Lexus 570 with about 4-5 utility vehicles accompanying. And the guys were there, the drivers were there in the vehicle, running the engines, air conditioning on. And I remember that meeting lasted about 2 hours or thereabout. All these wastes, you understand? All the waste that we leakages, we are not running these organizations efficiently. We can do better than that. The overheads, just go and check out the overheads that they incur. I mean, can you see they are, and they generate funds. If you ask them, they will tell you that they pay into TSA accounts. Yes, but of course, I know that they don't pay 100% into TSA accounts. If you are asked to pay 200,000, you will be asked to pay 100,000 into TSA account, the remaining 100,000 into cash. But that is understandable. They access their funds. But the fact is, they should make they should write a memo and go and defend it. So can they generate money and they say they cannot access it? I mean, so these are things. Are we talking about you need creative ability to manage the situation? Are they suggesting 90 days that you said management have not found a solution to this challenge? For God's sake,
it's really
90 days.
It's really embarrassing.
To this challenge. And you know that this is a 90-day continuous. We have had a few weeks and a month and that about before this.
I mean,
yes. I mean, management means once a week. Are they suggesting that they lack the capacity and the ability to find creative solutions to this challenge?
And considering the fate of the patients at the UCH as we speak.
Damola, about I think March, because this thing just didn't happen now. March last year, I recall somebody I know called me from the maternity department section, and there were several people there, and they were speaking to me. And of course, my neighbor is a consultant. And when you hear stuff from the other side of the patients, you have to listen to the other side of the coin too. Surgeries. I had a cousin that was undergoing chemotherapy. She did it every 21 days. There was a particular session, and normally she would spend 3 days. She would come in, they would run tests one day, and then they would do the chemotherapy one day, and then they will watch over her for another day. So 3 days. And I called her, are you back home after 4 days? She said, no, I'm still there. I said, what's happening? She said, there's no night. She spent 10 nights there. They could not carry out basic tests. No, they couldn't carry out tests. Can you imagine the situation like that? And they will not take test results from elsewhere, to apply.
Definitely.
So now imagine, don't even talk about emergencies. Look, a cousin of mine who was in the accident and emergency a few months back, and the doctor there was lamenting emergency. 1 nurse to 18 patients. So 1 nurse in the emergency accident and emergency ward, 1 nurse to 18 patients. You can figure out the rest.
That is terrible.
It's scandalous.
It's a very sad one. As we wrap up now this segment, let's move to politics with this particular story. 2027, there is an agenda to destroy opposition parties, El-Rufai claims. How true is this? Looking at what is happening in opposition parties, PDP in disarray, Labour Party in disarray, and El-Rufai, who seems to know better, is saying there is an agenda to destroy opposition parties. As we wrap up this segment.
So, Damola, if the opposition knows that there is an agenda to destroy them, what is the opposition doing to ensure that they are not destroyed? I mean, why is El-Rufai talking like that. I mean, that's tricky. That's tricky. When you know, okay, there is war. War has been declared, and you know you are going to come under attack. What do? You prepare. Are they preparing? Are they not sabotage? You see, what goes around, they say, comes around. This El-Rufai and the rest of them, are they not in PDP? Were they not the ones that, when they became dissatisfied?
What party is El-Rufai? What party is El-Rufai now?
I do not know. Because
but the last time I checked, he's in the ruling party.
The last time I checked, I'm told he's flirting. You know, there's a lot of political flirtation. He's flirting with another party.
Well, the last time I checked, he's in the APC, and if somebody in the APC who is in the ruling party is insinuating that there is an agenda to destroy.
There's an agenda to destabilize opposition. I mean, so is that not his party planning to destabilize opposition?
That's
you know, Nigerian politicians, interesting people. Interesting people. They stand for. There are no parties in Nigeria. There are only special purpose vehicles to attain power at all costs. Okay. That is just it.
All right, Comrade Ayodeji Achokpe, it's been another exciting time with you on this segment of From the Dailies this morning. I did tell you that we have just 30 minutes to spend because Daddy is in the house, is in the studio already.
Fridays,
definitely.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
My salutations to that great man of God.
Yeah, he's listening too. All right, thank you very much, Comrade Ayodeji Achokpe. All right, wishing you a very
Thank you very much.
All right, it's still From the Dailies AM update on Solutions 93.9 FM. Today's edition is in two segments. Like I did say at the beginning of the program, we reviewed the newspapers, and now it's about time for us to have a session with the great man of God in the house. That is Bishop Taiwo Adelakun. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.